Hi, Gaye DeRusso with the Majestic Rider. So here today I'm Rocky. He's doing pretty well. He's a calm horse. He is not a beginner horse. This is why he's more sensitive in the mouth. He's not one you should be yanking on. He seems to have had some training and somebody's probably taken it off. So we're going to tune all that up. And he needs somebody who's going to pay attention and direct him, because sometimes when they've had beginners and stuff on them, the horses get confused or they take the training off. So he's doing well, but this is the kind of training he needs. I'm going to take you out on trail, so I'll show you what he needs out there. He will be having a tune-up, so that's included in his price. And he does know how to leg yield, do the turn on the forehand. It just needs some more finishing. He's got a nice flat walk in the arena. His saddle gait has to be tuned up as well, and that happens when people don't know how to ride these horses, or maybe nobody's ridden them right over the years. Okay, so I'm gonna go a little faster. So I'm gonna take him out on the trail. I'm gonna save the video for that, and I'll make a video with the pivot with the, so you can see how he gaits and all of that. I forgot one thing. So he also is not a horse that should be, besides beginners, timid. He just has a little stubbornness to him, not much, but most quiet horses have some of that to them. So somebody who's submissive or scared or has post-traumatic stress or something, he's probably going to take over with someone like that. So he just needs someone. He's not hard, but he needs someone who's going to pay attention, has some horsemanship skills, and then we'll get his gaits tuned up and all of that for you. Oh, he's good mounting from the ground. He doesn't really know the mounting block much, so I'll fix that too. Okay, that's why I make them all come into training when they come for sale, you know, so I can make sure I know the horses well and make the right match for them. So the first test is I like to go around the barn, see how they do with all the dogs and all of that. I've hand walked him around here, so he's been around here, and I've ridden the bike with him around it. So now we'll see how he does with the rider on top of him and going by these things. I'll talk to you about new horses. So when you're riding your new horse, the best thing to do is not walk out super slow. I'm sliding the bit because he's looking in that door. So see, a beginner wouldn't know to do that. But all the horses look in that door because it's dark in there. Now the dogs might come running. If not, Lulu! Lulu! Good girl! Come on, get them! Get him! Because I want to see what he does. Good job! Good job! Let's go this way. Come here, Lulu! Come on this way! Good girl! You get him! You get him! So good dog! Good job! Yeah! It's good to rev the dogs up, so he did good with that. Good girl! Hi! You want to jump on the fence? Let's see if we can get him over here. Come on up! Come on up! Good girl! Good girl! Good job! So pretty good with the dogs. But he looked a little bit at that open barn door, see, and a beginner wouldn't know how to ride by that. You got to take a hold of him and push him. That's not hard. It's something an intermediate rider should know how to do. So he's doing good. He's just looking around a little bit, and I do have a stick in my hand, so I'm pushing him forward. Hi. So he kind of looked at the trailer, so we want to go by it. So see, that's another thing that I think a beginner wouldn't do well. He balked at that trailer. He wasn't sure of it, and I just said, well, you got to go by it again then. So now I'm going to turn around and go by it another time. Don't let that stuff slide. And there he just sucked back a little bit, and I gave him a little tap with my stick. So again, nothing hard. There we go. Now see, second time by and he's fine, but that wouldn't have happened if I didn't get after him. So he needs somebody who knows how to ride and is going to make him a better horse, not a worse horse. Beginners, this is why I think you should get older horses, horses that have tons of mileage on it, horses that have tons of training, so you can't take it all off, and so it keeps you safe, and then in time you can move up to a better horse. But when you get ones that are younger and you know, or not much training or came out of pasture, you're going to have some problems, and that's why you need a trainer to point out when you're doing things wrong so you don't ruin a nice new horse. So I'm taking him down here. There's going to be a horse under the tree. I do that on purpose. See what he does. And I sped up a little bit as I got down, but otherwise he was okay. And now I'm going to be leaving the barn, so this might be a little bit hard. You know, again, they make new friends, and then I haven't taken them out yet because I was doing the groundwork with them. So nothing bad. He's just going slow, and I want them to leave the barn with a little bit more energy. That's better. So I'm not sure if he was ridden in groups, you know, mostly before this owner got him, or if he was ridden alone much. I know she rode him alone, and he just wasn't that comfortable with her. So I am pushing him slightly, so he will go, but you do have to, at least leaving, you got to put a little leg on him. Now things blow up here, so I know he could spook. So my ranger's short, sitting back. See that tarp blowing? Well, he didn't care, but he did stutter like, I don't want to leave, but he's not afraid of the tarp, so I just pushed him. That's why I always take a stick when I don't know the horses, or I have the Rommel reins, so I can get after them. I really don't want to spur them, so I have those on for backup, but I'd rather use a stick to tap them to make them go forward. And then so he's going okay. He's looking at stuff though. That doesn't make a bad horse. That just makes a horse that's aware. And that's another reason he's not a beginner horse, okay? Beginner horses should be unaware. They shouldn't care about a thing. But he's looking. He's not doing anything bad, but he's still looking. And with someone who doesn't know what the heck they're doing, that could go south really fast. So I'm just kind of driving him forward, getting him to use his back end. This is just his flat walk. So that's the scarecrow. It's right there. So yeah, you might see him go by it and you'd think he was a beginner horse because he went by that scarecrow, right? No, he needed someone to push him. So it's not just the horse, or, you know, what it looks like. It's, can you ride this? Any horse can be great and any horse can be horrible. It's got to be the right fit, right for your confidence, and also we got to step up here. So I tapped him, like, make sure you're paying attention. He's a little tired going up this hill. It is hard, and I'm so used to taking walking horses up this, and it's a piece of cake for them. They just fly up it like it's nothing. But the Rockies, it's always harder because they have a shorter stride. So I'm going to stop and give him a little break. Now, I don't know him, so I'm not going to put him on a loose rein. I loosened up 2, maybe 3 inches, and I'm just going to keep my hands forward. And I'm sitting back, so in case he does something goofy, okay? Now he's looking around. It's okay, but can you see how he's aware of stuff? And that's fine for a horse. So many of us like that. We want them to be aware, to keep us safe and stuff. But with beginners, I don't like this on the bridle because it goes in their eye. With beginners, you don't want them like this. You want their head down. They shouldn't be moving. They should just be sitting there going back to sleep. That's a safe beginner horse. It could be a beginner horse if you got a trainer, or you're advanced beginner, or you're a brave beginner, and you want to learn and work with a horse, sure. But not someone who's just going to get on and not do the work, or doesn't have good balance, doesn't have a lot of time. No, this is not him, or this is not your horse. We have horses like that though, but that's why those horses, of course, are much more expensive, because they're going to keep you safer, and hospital bills are more expensive than horses. All right, so we're going to go forward. Now see, if I just let him go, this is how slow he goes. And that's why a lot of people like Rockies. But when you're first going out on a trail, on a new horse, you don't want them to go that slow because they'll find things to use that energy up with. So we want to use that energy up going out. And pay attention to that. So he's going to be doing pole work so he gets better with his feet. You know, some horses haven't been climbing or they're just out of shape, and that's why they're doing those things. That's why I like to do those poles. And he's been doing them, and he's getting much, much better with them. So I know he's going to improve. Okay, so see, he's slow again. So I'm going to push him. Both legs tapping with the stick. So he's not acting like he's scared. He's just acting like, do I have to go? I'm like, yeah, you got to go. Let's do this job. This is your job. This is why you get food and a place to stay. Or if you don't want to do it, you can go live out in the wild and see how that goes for you. Okay? Now, of course, we're not going to do that, but that's what you want to think in the back of your mind. So I'm going to drive him, make him go forward. We're going to go through that narrow part in a second. So this is the narrow part. Now I'm going to stay still and go slower if he wants to, and then look down if he wants to. Now as he got slower, he got a little stuck in there. He's like, I don't think I know how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to drive him through here. It's narrow, but he got stuck in that other part, so I'm going to push him a little bit. Now, you might get your new horse and you're like, he's out of breath. I feel bad. I'm going to let him walk really slow. I wouldn't do that. Not in the beginning, okay? I might let him walk slow all the way home, but walking out, I want him to go forward. I don't want to give him the chance to suck back and turn around and go home if he wanted to. And you might hear that stick going once in a while because I'm pushing him. This is his first time out on this trail. This is not abnormal. This is what a lot of horses do. Unless, you know, they've been ridden a lot and have a lot of mileage on them. Those horses will usually just go. But when they haven't, or they've had bad experiences, or somebody scared them, they don't want to go. Would you want to go? I wouldn't want to go with them either. So that's what he's doing. So we're going to use this energy up, walk forward. I'll put you back on because I got to save some of the battery. I'm trying to do 2 horses on this. We're going downhill, going over roots, doing pretty good. Remember, you want to feel their weight go on their back end when they go downhill to keep you safer. He's doing pretty good at it. All right, so now we're going to do his faster gait, which is a saddle gait, and see how he does out here. Again, many of these horses have not been ridden in the arena, so they usually gait faster and better out here. You know, he's doing good so far. I know he's got more speed than this, but this is quite nice. So I don't care where his head is, as long as he stays pretty smooth. But you got to help him. You got to find where is that sweet spot that I put their head and get tension or relaxation in their neck and spine to help them to get that best gait. And that's what you got to figure out. Of course, my horses, I can tell you. But with your horse, you're going to have to figure out where that is. So some of them, their head's a little higher, some it's a little lower. You just play around and see. So like I've said in the other videos, these things, I always forget the name of them, can spook a lot of horses because they move around a lot, but he's not affected by it at all. And he seems to be, he's going out here, but like a more follower type horse, and I'm going to ride him in groups, so I'll be able to tell. And again, I like followers. You got to push them to go out alone, but they're great in groups, and usually, you know, don't act up much because they're not dragging you down the trail like some of the lead horses. Stop him. Oh, we're going to test. Will he stand here? He's like, yeah, I'd like to get some air, Gaye. So he's standing pretty well. He's not trying to turn towards home. So that's all a good sign. Now I'm going to push him again. So he went off pretty easily. okay? But again, that's me and my presence, my energy. It changes with each person, so that's why it's helpful when you try horses and ride them to see how it responds to your energy and your skills, because you never know until you get them home how they're going to be. So if you can test them, you can get on a plane and get there, go do it, because it's worth it. It could be the most beautiful, well-trained horse ever, and you ride it and it's horrible for you. So doesn't mean it's the horse, it's just it's not the right match, that's all. So now we're going downhill. He's rocked back on his back again. We're good. I showed him how to keep his head down on keeping a very light contact to keep it down. I want their head down so he can build up his muscles. Now we're going to go uphill. So I'm going to speed him up and just see what he does. So now I shorten my reins a little bit. Now I'm going to stop riding. And that's what I figured. See how he just went back to slow? So I think in time this is going to be, a calm horse. He might pack beginners, just not right now, but maybe in a year with some good riding he would pack beginners. And he's calm and gentle, but he kind of just needs someone who knows what they're doing. Oh, I know what we're going to talk about. So I'm going to talk about different levels of riders, because sometimes you've been riding for years and years, so you think you're intermediate or advanced, and you're not. So a beginner is somebody who's just starting, doesn't know how to steer that well, doesn't have very good balance, doesn't have great horsemanship skills. They don't know what to do if the horse, is getting scared or reacting to something, or all of a sudden doesn't want to go, or, they don't know how to get it to fix problems, okay? Now, that's what I describe as a beginner. So somebody who's pretty new to horses, but there's also beginners who have been riding all their life. And that's the tricky part, okay? So that kind of beginner is someone who doesn't pay attention, someone who's a passenger, someone who'd just be riding this new horse like this, like, ooh, la-da-da-da-da, he's fine, who cares? No. See? He's like, I'm going to look where I can get out of here now. When they have issues, they don't know what to do. They just grab on, and they have no tools in their toolbox. So when issues come up, they don't know how to fix things. And their horses usually start out nice and then go bad over time. Okay? That's a beginner who's been riding all their life, but they have not increased their skills. They don't really understand that horses are prey animals and need a leader and someone to help them. And they also are those people that run up behind you, take off in front of you, because they don't understand the whole herd dynamic, and that they're setting all the other horses off and making the trail ride crazy. Okay? And you got the intermediate riders. Now, an intermediate rider could be somebody who was a beginner 3 months ago, if they got a good trainer and somebody showing them what to do, and they're learning all the skills. They know how to do groundwork. They understand what it does for a horse, and they're want to learn. They want to put the time in. They're working a horse 3 to 5 times a week, maybe more, and every day they're trying to learn new skills. Okay, that's what I'd call an intermediate. Somebody who's motivated and somebody who's going to ride. Okay? And that's someone who, once they learn something, they use those skills. If I teach them to leg yield, they come out here like this and they're leg yielding, and they ask me what the serpentine's for, and then they're practicing the serpentine, and they're understanding all the reasons I'm telling them to practice and do these things. Okay? An intermediate isn't petrified when the horse spooks. They understand how they should ride it out, and then what to do with the horse to make it braver. And they have a pretty good seat and pretty good balance. So again, an intermediate rider could be someone who hasn't been riding long, but is athletic and motivated, and understands and reads, and is someone trying to really learn. And an intermediate can be someone who's ridden all their life, but they've never pushed past that point, so they kind of just stay an intermediate. Okay, but they can fix things. They can ride out bucks, and they know what to do when the horse rears up, and they're trying. Now, an advanced rider is someone, when a horse does something, They can, you know, stick pretty good, stick like glue. But as we get older, we don't stick like glue, even if we're good riders. But they know what to do. They know about herd dynamics. They understand predator versus prey, and they understand how the horse thinks. They can ride difficult horses. They can ride easy horses, okay? And they help other people and not look down on them, because that's not what I call an experienced rider, someone who's being a jerk. Is you want to help people, and you want to help others learn how to ride better and make the trail ride better. This guy's getting a little tired. That you see his head coming up and down, so we'll give him a break. But look, these are the water tanks that a lot of horses get scared of. He just walked by, so he doesn't care. But again, he needs somebody with some skills, though. Or he might have gotten up here and pretended he was afraid of that. He's not. But they do that stuff. They do pretend. And so an experienced rider might ride difficult horses. They might ride easy horses because maybe they don't want to deal with it. And they know enough that, you know, what they feel like that day, if they should ride a difficult horse or not. They're making more right decisions than wrong decisions. They understand to go down and up gully slow. They understand not to take off from the group and, you know, to run up behind people or run past them, because they know that might upset other horses and make them kick or buck or rear or get somebody bucked off, okay? That's what I call an experienced rider. And again, that could be somebody who was a beginner a year ago, but they were very motivated. They're riding all the time. They've taken lots of lessons, so they've advanced quite quickly. Or it can be somebody, you know, who's been riding 50 years. So that's the hard part when they say, you know, would be fine for a beginner. And I'm like, a 4-year-old foxtrotter, a 4-year-old Rocky? Yeah, it might be calm enough, but is it going to be forgiving enough? Is that beginner going to ruin that horse for the rest of its life? How much training could it have when it's a 4-year-old? Especially if they tell you it started at 3. That means it has 1 year of training. That means even if they taught it a lot, that horse's brain is still in kindergarten. It might be calm until it's not. So those are the things you got to know. An experienced person would be like, oh, 4-year-old, whatever it is, gaited horse. It needs to run around. I'm going to lunge it first. I'm going to desensitize it. I'll ride it around in the arena, and then I'm going to take it out on the trail. And so they'll probably have a good ride and do pretty well with it. This is the beginner rider. I just got that horse. Yeah, I think he's fine. He's been in his stall for the weekend, but they said he was calm. You know, all foxtrotters and Rockies are calm, so I'm just going to saddle him up and go. Oh, no, nobody's here to ride with me. I think I'll just go alone. It's not a problem. He was fine when I tested him. And off they go, having a bad ride, and the horse comes home by himself. That's a beginner, because they don't understand what a young horse is. They don't understand how to prepare a horse right. They don't understand that when a horse has been sitting for a weekend, that it might be cuckoo. And they don't understand that a horse doesn't have a great work ethic because it's only 4 and it's only had a year of training. Okay? So you have to realize when they describe the horses, you also have to look at the age, the experience of the horse, and what it has. And anything that was great but has been sitting in pasture for a while needs somebody to get on it, ride it, tune it back up so it remembers everything it knew. And it does not need a beginner to try to do that, because they won't do it well and the horse is going to be bad. Okay, so now we're going to stop here. So with all this stuff, he has not spooked. Okay, so at least with me and all these things, and I did expose him with the groundwork, I've been doing crazy stuff around him, he's been quite good. He was a little looky in the beginning, and then he was quite good. Now I'm going to face home. This is another test. Does he want to run home? Here we go. I'm going to drop the reins. Do you want to run home? Right on cue. He's like, no, I wouldn't do that. They told me what you do to those horses. So can't ask for better than that. It's a smart horse. Very smart. So I like Cody. Cody's a pretty horse. He's a smart horse. He's just not a beginner horse. Okay? And you would think he is by the way he's acting. No, this is a nice intermediate horse who wants to relax, knows how to ride, help the horse some, but is not interested in having a whole bunch of issues, and maybe doesn't want to go super fast. Okay? This horse needs to move, don't get me wrong. They all need to move and get that energy out, especially like, you know, he was out over the weekend. And I did run him around and prepare him, and I rode him in the arena like you saw before I came out. Now we're going to pass these horses up on the right. Sometimes they run. Sometimes you guys don't. Sometimes they wait till I get up here and then they go galloping and bucking like, let's screw with her and see how that old lady rides today. Can she stay on? And I was like, yeah, and if I fall off, guess who? I'm coming after you two over there. So now that he's calm and I've worked off energy and he's seen everything the one direction, now we're going to loosen up. So you don't ride out like this, okay? That's a beginner move. You ride out like this, forward, motivated, paying attention, looking around, seeing what's spooky, trying to help that horse do well. Okay? And then you ride back like this. Now my reins are long, I'm relaxed, I'm hyper aware of all my surroundings, and I have good feel. So if I feel him tense up, I'll be able to shorten my reins and react. So if he tenses up, I'm just going to grab my reins like this and I'm ready. Sit back, put my feet out in front of me, and push myself back so I try and stay in the saddle more. But now you see I'm going to one hand. So that's the tricky part. If you rode him, maybe following another horse, he's totally calm like this. We're going to see. But I like people to be successful, not fail. The hardest part is people admit what you are. If you've been riding all your life but you're a beginner, then you get a beginner horse. Do not get an advanced horse or a very young horse that's going to need help. That's not going to work out so well in the end. Okay? Now you might have done it. That's great. Congratulations. I'm glad you stepped up to the challenge. But most people won't. So the first part is knowing yourself. How much am I going to ride? Am I going to practice? Or I would just like to ride on the weekend and have a nice horse that packs me around like this. You get an older, non-spooky horse who doesn't care about anything. Then if you have bad balance, remember, beginners have bad balance. So it doesn't matter. I could be beginner in 20 years because I might have bad balance then, and I might not be as quick to respond. Okay, and then I might only be riding on the weekend. So it can change. I can go from advanced rider to beginner, but I'll admit it because I want to be safe and I want to have a fun ride. So if now you realize, I stepped it way down. I haven't been riding a long time. My balance has changed. I got vertigo. I got vision problems. My knees are killing me. I can't get on and off very fast if there's a problem. You've turned into a beginner, you get a beginner horse. Non-spooky, middle-aged to older, something sure-footed, something that's going to take care of you. Like that walking horse that I rode. That walking horse, phenomenal. He didn't care about a darn thing. Very sure-footed. Knew what to do on the trail. That would be a good one. Okay. But the biggest problem we have is not admitting what we are. The horses admit it and show you right in the beginning. They're like, I'm advanced, watch this, woohoo, can you hang on? It's the people that don't. They're like, I've been riding all my life. Yeah, I fixed problem, I trained horses, yeah. Oh yeah, I trained them when I was in my 40s and 50s. And I'm like, okay, you're 17 now. Have you trained any lately? No, but I'll be fine. I go, well, I know I won't be fine when I hit my 70s. I'm going to have easier horses to ride. When you guys want to send in these crazies, guess what? I won't be taking them. I'll be like, here's a cowboy, send it to him, because I'm not riding it anymore. So know your limitations. It'll keep you much safer. Okay, see, but he's doing quite good. So I know these trails, not a lot of people ride on them. You know, sometimes in Adolfo and Terry I run into them, but the horses still tell you, they'll put their head up and their ears will go up, and I know they're usually coming. I'm taking him over bumps to see how he's handling his feet. He does pretty good. So I know, but if I didn't know, if I'm riding him somewhere and I might be like this, but my reign's shorter than you know, I just have my hand up so he has a looser rein. But if I know there's bikes flying and stuff like that, I'm not going to be totally relaxed. I'm going to be ready. If I'm somewhere it's dark and shady and deer hide out in a certain area, there's turkeys up there, I'm not going to wait for them to jump out, spook my horse, have it spin, and if I'm not paying attention, possibly fall off. I'm going to prepare. So you see, it was open up there. I could see pretty well. Now I can't see it. This is blind turn, so my reins are shorter. Remember, horses don't see light to dark or dark to light very well. It takes their eyes a while to focus, so they're not going to see it like you do. So if they jumped up over that hill, let's go faster, Cody, I'm bored. You know, I want to be prepared that if I come up, my reins are short and I know they might be coming. Now Cody's gotten very quiet. He's like, why don't you get off and walk, lady? But again, this is, you know, some people love Rockies because they go slow like this, and some people want, you know, make them go fast all the time. So there's calm Rockies, and Rockies are great horses. If you get a good one, they have great temperaments, but also it has to have had great training or somebody rode it well. That's the other thing that comes into play, okay? So it doesn't matter if it was passed around, because people always want to go, how many owners does it have? Well, sometimes they get passed around because everybody buying it is not the best rider, you know, and that's why it's not working out. So it's not that, it's getting the right horse for you. If you get a Rocky Mountain horse that was a show horse, it's more likely going to be faster and have more action in its knees and a little bit more spirited, because that's what they want in the show arena. So if you get one and you're like, he's a little too spirited for me, well, you shouldn't have bought a show horse. You just buy a trail Rocky instead. So know the difference. And then also the show Rockies might have had heavier shoes on. I don't see them put stacks on like they do with the walking horses, but they do put heavier shoes on them. Okay, nothing wrong with that if you're showing. I mean, it's not that heavy, and it makes them pick up their feet higher, and that's what they're looking for in the show ring. So if those people want to win, that's usually what they got to do. But that means when you pull the shoes, that horse might be a little bit more step pacey or pacey. Okay, so I'm going to make them go forward. Hills are always good for anything that's pacey or step pacey. So some of these Rockies will break into a trot when you're riding them. He does trot when he's loose, but he has not broken it into a trot under saddle. And he can go fast. See? Quite smooth out here. But you got to push him. At least at this point in time, in the condition he's in. He's like, holy cow, Gaye, you're crazy. So now I'm going to, you see his head, I'm going to show you a little bit about signals, especially if there's beginners watching this. So he's got his head low, that tells you he's relaxed. His ears are forward, that tells you he's more aware of what's in front of him. He's not worried about anything behind him. See the right ear keeps going back? That means something's probably over in the woods over here. Okay? Now his ears aren't staying back, and his ears aren't like going further back than that. So that's why I don't think anything's behind me. So horses give you lots of signals if you just pay attention. Now he just lowered his head even more. So that tells me he's not worried about much right now. Now if something jumped out, sure, could he spook? Of course he could. I could spook too. It might scare the hell out of me. That's just normal. Someone jumped out of a closet and I was totally relaxed. I'd done yoga, had a glass of wine before that. They jumped out. I'd go from relaxed to freaked out in seconds. So that's your horse. He did his yoga. He's had his glass of wine. He's chilling, walking in the sand, having a good time. Now his ears are going a little bit more back now, aren't they? See how both of them are going back a little bit? So that tells me, Gaye, look behind you. Is anything back there? There's a mountain lion following us. I'm just joking. But if it did, I hope this horse would turn from not spooky to spooky and take us home very fast and get us the hell out of here. But if you watch them, they will tell you if they're worried or if they're not worried. So if his head was high up, his ears were forward, he was snorting, that tells me he's trying to smell something. Am I going to be one hand loose, not paying attention? No. I'd be like, my hands up here, trying to get his head down and give him 50 jobs to do so he doesn't freak out with us. But see, he's good with these things. But with the way he is right now, he's very calm. He's alert, but not being goofy. And we just walked over that rock that has the dirt over it that I pointed out when I rode the walking horse. And you saw he didn't trip. Here comes another rock with dirt over it, so they can't see it. So that's a good way to see, like, how sure-footed are they? Are they one of those daisy clippers that just drag their toes? He's not. So again, if he was having issues or something and it's towards the end of the ride, it's more likely he's tired, or your horse is tired, if that's what's happening. So test them, take them over things, and you know, if you walk over branches and stuff and they're tripping over every single thing, I might call a vet and get everything checked. Check their eyes, check your saddle fit, check, you know, have them go over poles, poke them with a pen in their feet. Can they feel their feet? Start testing. Don't just keep riding it out hoping it's going to get better. You got to be proactive with horses. Okay, so he's very calm, but he's new, so even though I got him on a loose rein, I'm very aware of that something could happen because I don't know him well yet. And that's how you should be with your new horse. Don't let your guard down, and don't do crazy rides in the beginning. You know, ride in your arena, make sure you know him well. That's where I'd be if I wasn't testing him right now. And then ride him around your barn and know him well around the barn, and then start taking him out on the trail. Okay, so he's not rushing home, he's not buddy sour, he's not barn sour. But don't forget, what did I do on the way out? I pushed him, I made him move out, and we gated, and we used up his energy because I didn't want him to have any energy going home. That helps you. Okay, he's like, how about we just stop? Now, once they get tired, these narrow things and obstacles can be more difficult. It's just like when you're tired, you might not pay attention that much, right? And you might walk into the wall or something. So I know as we go through these things, he's now tired because this is steep. It might not look steep, but it is steep getting up here and moving out. And so I want him to sit back and try to stay still and keep myself balanced as he tries to get us through these things. Okay? If I was turned backwards, not paying attention, riding with one hand, you know what that's going to do? It's going to make him poorly balanced. And then if he did trip or something, I might be knocking him over because my weight's all over the place. So they get tired, you get better balance, ride better. Okay. So we're almost out. Now we're back in the sand. He stayed very calm. And this is the hard part too. This is why a horse can be good with one person and not another. Or a horse is very confident with one person and you sell it and someone scares the hell out of it because they ride it wrong and they do all the wrong things. And, you know, and then the previous owner takes the horse back. I've talked to many people who've done that and they go, I took the horse back and they scared the hell out of it. And now it's got a problem. It wasn't afraid of bikes, now it's afraid of bikes. It wasn't afraid of hikers, now it's afraid of hikers. I wasn't afraid of cows, but now it is. So we took the turn. You can see the barn. He's not getting any faster. He did put his head down, which is good because you got to pay attention because we're doing step downs here. So here comes the step down. He's pretty balanced, so I'm just going to sit back. That was good. Again, if they want to put their head down, they see different than us, so I let them put their head down when we're doing step downs because some of them are nearsighted, some are farsighted, and I'm like, look, let's down this. But if you hold their head up and they can't see, well, guess what? They can't judge it as well, and that can be the problem right there, that they're tripping down step downs, is because they need to put their head down and look, and you won't let them. Okay? So if you're unsure, just get off, walk your horse, give it its head while you're walking it on the ground and see what it does. If every time it goes down a step down, it puts its head down, it's just showing you what it needs to do. He's like, I think you should just stay here because I heard when we get back to the barn, you ride us more. So here's my assessment. Overall, I still think he needs an intermediate rider at this point in time. He could be a beginner horse in time, but not right now. He's a great horse. He's smooth. He's fun. He's safe. And, but he needs someone who's going to ride, knows how to ride, and help him if he needs help. All right, and that's it for Cody right now. There's a scarecrow. I forgot to show you that. And now he's, this hill's hard, and they do walk out a little bit going down it, and that's what I'm letting him do. It's not fast, at least for me. It doesn't feel fast at all. It is a little bit of a flat walk, but I want to let him move out a little bit stretch out. Because again, I'm going to work him at home, so it's not like he's really speeding up. It's just easier for them to go down the hill like that versus if they go down really slow. It's much harder on them. And, he's in good condition, but not for the hills that we have and where I'm going to ride him. So I gotta help him.